Welcome everyone back to the Crimson 15 podcast. I'm your host, Crimson Sin.
F15 PCA.
And it's back. Star Trek Discovery is back from its hiatus. And we're here to watch it. And we're at episode 10 now. And it's episode 10, Despite Yourself. And for a little mini recap, basically, they did that jump. Things got all screwy, and they're in a place where they don't know where they're at. And that's literally where this episode starts, where the last one ended. So they're like in a ship graveyard. Like, they're like, there's a bunch of ships all blown up, but the signatures are off. Yeah. Like, the mass and matter aren't matching up. So, like, you know, that's even a callback to the original. They did talk about that.
Yeah, they did talk about that. Like, the mass signatures are a little bit different. Yeah, if it's a different...
And they keep laying the seeds. Okay, alternate universe. We even talked about that before this episode aired. So, everything kind of starts not being right. Oh, we're in the right spot, but things are different. Yeah. Things are alike, but they're not quite alike. So, like, okay, we get it. Alternate universe. So, they are trying to figure things out, and then a Vulcan ship comes on them, and it powers up weapons. And we're thinking, Vulcan ship? What the freak? They're going to fire on
a Federation ship?
And they're like, they're not going to even talk to them. They start shooting at...
And it's so funny because this series so far has made everything look radically different. Vulcan ships look just like they did on the original shows.
I never liked the Vulcan ship designs because they always seemed weird to me. But
they got the circle and then the ship.
It's like the other ships are cool, but they start getting this little battle. They start fighting them off. And then they get a call from the USS Cooper. Yeah. And they're like, wait a second, the Cooper's supposed to be like in dry dock somewhere getting retrofitted. Yeah. And they're like, what's going on? Something's up with this. So they come in, hey, we'll take care of this these Vulcan rebels. I'm like, rebels? Like, what? What's going on? So, you know, any fan of Trek that knows anything about anything, okay, we're talking Terran Empire.
Yeah, I kind of figured that's what they were at.
We didn't know.
When they saw the Vulcan ship was firing them, I'm like, that doesn't make any sense.
Because there are multiple mirror universes.
There are different ones, but I was assuming...
this is the original mirror universe of the Terran Empire. Mm-hmm. So that's basically where they kind of get to that point where they're like, okay, they start scanning things and figuring out, then he comes up with the solution. Captain Lorca starts talking about, after we were done with the war, me and the engineer guy, again, I don't remember his name, we're going to study this further, but I guess we done it. Yeah. You know, but it's funny, it was Lorca who caused all this.
Yeah, by putting the thing. I think, my opinion, I think Lorca just wanted to go to a different part of the galaxy. I don't think he meant to do
this alternate universe
thing. I think he messed with it, and it totally changed everything.
Because he wants to always be at war. I don't know if he can be at peace.
No.
Lorca can't exist.
Well, he found the perfect universe for that.
He fits right in.
Yeah, he does.
And another thing that was irritating me is when they're explaining the mirror universe thing, and they did this again. The camera keeps spinning.
Oh my gosh, I couldn't watch it for about a few
I looked away from the screen because it was giving me a freaking headache. Yeah. Stop spinning the damn camera.
For like a good minute. It was ridiculous.
Okay, everyone's talking, and then Michael's talking, and then Tilly's talking, and the camera keeps spinning around
and
everyone.
Suru's talking. Yes. I don't know what's going on.
It kind of gives me a little bit of a headache, and I hate that. Just keep the camera in one spot. Or at least just cut to when someone's talking. The constant, wheel around just awful. And then we get back to the doctor because, again, at the end of the last episode, after that jump screwed up the engineer guy, he's like all wide-eyeballed and he's like mumbling things and he's just like a catatonic, basically. But he'll get times where he'll just get up and start walking around. And then he literally like threw his husband across the room. And it's like, is he super strong now?
I know, right?
Did this whole jumping thing give him super strength? Because he did like a arm swipe and it sent them flying.
Well, it's funny. I think Crimson said what he thinks happened is that maybe it's all the different universes of him, and he's just on flux.
Yeah, he's everywhere.
He's everywhere, so he's kind of...
He has the strength of all of his mirror selves. Yeah. Maybe something like that. That's just something I was spitballing.
Yeah, we're just throwing it out there, but that could be the case.
And one thing that did happen there, which I thought was kind of sweet in its own little way, Tilly's like talking to the catatonic engineer. She's like, I know you hate it when I do this, but what was the right calibration for this? She try to get him to talk. Yeah. Because she always thought, I always irritated him with these questions, and maybe this will bring him back. Like, that was a little sweet. Tilly, in her own way, was trying to help. I'm like, but the doctor guy's like, he's not responding to anything. He'll blab, like he was blabbing about some castle or palace or something.
The thing is, I don't think outside stimuli is going to affect him at all. I think he's so out of it, it's not going to make a difference.
And then we have the captain comes down there and starts, he dismisses Tilly, and I need to talk to the doctor. And then, of course, the doctor goes after the captain, and rightfully so. Yeah. And he's like, do you even really want to help him, or do you just want to keep using your spore drive and jumping around? And then
Yeah, and then Lorca says, "Well, I'm concerned for him, and so I got to put someone that's not attached to him, basically."
Yeah, I'm removing you from his care and getting another one.
And he goes, "Now you care? Oh yeah, of course you care now."
Lorca is really good at faking. I want to say empathy, like because you caused this.
Yeah,
you did this. That's like walking in a room, and, knocking everyone's food on the floor and talking about, oh, we need to make food for everyone. Well, you did it.
And the doctor was right again saying he did all those board jumps so you get those codes for the Klingon to discover the cloaked ships, and you didn't, you used them, and you didn't care.
And then Lorca's like, oh, maybe I tried the goal of winning this war, maybe I took it too far, but I don't think it seems, I don't trust Lorca.
And he says this after the fact. That's the problem.
After I screwed up.
Oh, now I'm going to say, thank you, Lorca.
So, of course, I'm going to just refer to the doctor as his husband. It's his husband. Yeah. And he hates the idea because he's like, well, let me take care of, he's... Yeah. But, your emotional attachment and everything. Oh, yeah, like, you're anyone to talk about that. It just irritated me. He was Lorca, you're a freaking jerk to everybody. Yeah, and you use people. He just uses everyone. Yep. So, we get... They send Lieutenant Tyler out there to go to because all the blowed up ships. So he's out there in some type of what do they call it, a bumblebee or something?
Looks like it. Looks like like you ever see those rigs like if you ever see in anime construction robots that have the arms that could grab things.
It kind of reminded me of those that yellow sub that they always send down with.
Yeah, kind of with the arms, kind of like that kind of mechanical looking thing.
So there
has a bubble over it.
So they're scanning the ships, and I guess they find a data core. Like, we'll get that data core, and then we can use it to see what's up with this universe. Yeah. And, of course, Lieutenant Tyler's starting to have more PTSD flashbacks where...
And it was a little much. It was heavy. It's like...
And it's gross. Because he's having flashbacks to, I guess, torture or surgery. And there's blood everywhere. And he's screaming. It's like, I don't like looking at it.
It's too much. It's too intense.
The flashbacks are brutal. They're just...
It's a little too over the top. You could just minimize it. And I guess Burnham was scanning, and she scanned on that Klingon ship Vulcan and Andorians. What?
So
what were
we have
doing on there?
Vulcans and Andorians on a Klingon ship.
Yeah.
What the heck? So they're starting to theorize, well, maybe they're teamed up.
Yeah.
And they're against us. Because that Vulcan ship just fired on us like we were the enemy. So whatever's going on in this universe, as fans, we all know it's the Terran universe, but they don't know that yet. And this is one thing I brought up, to find that data core. And it looked like it was in a blown-up piece of ship. Why couldn't they just transport that piece of wreckage onto the cargo bay?
This is a theme I had a complaint about this episode more than anything, is a couple times you have to explain the science. Why don't you say, if we transport it, we could rip the core out and we won't be able to get the information out of it. So we have to go in there and cut the part off from the ship, so we have to take it in.
And that was the thing, because Lieutenant Tyler is having his freak out and he's sweating everywhere, and it's a very delicate thing. He has to cut the door off, then he has to take the core out, and he's just having one of his PTS flashbacks. And it's like, dude. And
the thing is, and everyone on the bridge can see this, and then he's not responding fast enough. Something's going on. What's happening to this guy? I mean,
and during this whole thing, he gets it out undamaged. Okay, bring it back to the ship. And Captain Lorca's on the bridge, and he's talking to Michael. Oh, can I trust you? And she's like, well, yeah, Captain. Well, I need people that I can trust and everything. It's like, well, we brought it up at a weird time.
And what a weird time to bring it up. And the fact is, and Crimson mentioned this during the episode, I think she kind of what she did was horrible in the first episode of the series. But she's kind of did a lot of good things now. She's kind of helped a lot. Let's kind of,
you don't need to keep questioning her, loyalty, I guess. But it's
loyalty, and then you praise her. It's so weird.
So after Lieutenant brings the core on thing, he goes talks to the Klingon lady that's in the brig, and he's freaking out because he's having more of those flashbacks, and he's like, "What did you do to me?" And she's like, "Oh, we did it together," and it's so creepy.
Yeah,
it's like a rapist talking to their victim, and then trying to it was our idea together.
And the problem is, it's almost like a rapist that raped someone for months, if not years. Yeah, that's what it felt like.
And then she's like, "Oh, open this door, and I'll tell you everything." I'm like, he's not gonna open the door. And he opens the door!
It's insane.
Oh, fuck. Oh, my goodness. You psycho.
And then she's talking to him, and then he's about to kiss her, and then he gets a phaser to her head. It's crazy.
He's acting like a crazy person. Because he doesn't know what's going on.
And no one saw this with the cameras of the brink? No one saw this? I mean...
And then in classic Cold War style, she says, what are we looking for, in Klingon? And it's an activation word. Yeah. Then he starts speaking in Klingon. So I'm assuming he's that albino guy. That albino Klingon, we talked about that in early episodes. Yeah. Was it a mind transfer or a body transfer? Something happened to where he's the Manchurian candidate. He's a sleeper.
Yeah, a sleeper agent doesn't even realize it. But here's another thing. I know this isn't a big point, whatever. and she doesn't know she's a prisoner. Shouldn't they tell her they're in another universe? Shouldn't she know?
She doesn't know what's going on.
I know it's weird that she doesn't know what's going on. Like, shouldn't they tell her? Oh, by the way.
And then he starts saying all the Klingon things back and forth. They kind of remind again, Captain America, Civil War with Winter Soldier, where you have that book of special words you say to activate him. That's kind of what's happening. But then he kind of fights it off, and then the Klingon lady's like getting kind of scared, like that's supposed to work.
Yeah.
And he's like, "What did you do to me?" And she's like, whoa.
And that's where she puts a phaser to her head.
Yeah.
Like, oh my goodness, he's going to blow her head off.
Because everything before this, she looked like she was in control. At that point, she actually looked frightened.
Yeah.
Because she's like, whoa, I thought these code words are supposed to activate you and we're going to be together again.
She messed him up so much, I think eventually he's going to completely, like, freak out. That's my opinion.
So he throws her back in the cell and then he, like, runs out of there like a little crybaby. It's so ridiculous.
And then the next scene, he kind of wakes up and he's, like, across the room.
Yeah.
So what happened to that time lapse?
I'm pretty sure he's like blacking out and the other consciousness is taking over or something like that. But it's just like another running thing. Like, I wonder how this is going to come to a head with him and if he's even human. Maybe he was just Klingon and got all the surgeries to look human and they took a dossier of some other lieutenant guy.
Maybe they did it so well they're in conflict with each other. I don't know.
And another thing we brought up, there's no cameras down there. There's no warning thing.
No security?
In my mind, I would imagine that as soon as he deactivated that cell, Suru on the bridge be like, Captain, down in the brig, the Klingon cell has been deactivated. And then Captain Lorca be like, whoa, what's going on down there? Send his security team.
Why don't they just do like they've always done in Star Trek before this? These people that write for this show don't know Star Trek when it comes to these things. They just said, before Dr. Klingon, I disabled the security cameras in the cell so they won't know what happened.
Or he walks into the cell and he's like, computer, and it flips on Lieutenant Tyler, the head of security, override code, blah, blah, blah,
something.
Blah, blah.
Give me that. That's what Star Trek always does, and they don't do that in the show.
They skimped on the explanations for things that, just little things. That takes like a second, a minute.
This isn't like other sci-fi shows. Star Trek, you have to explain
Give us more.
Things.
Give us more.
You have to. And that's always been a big drawback about this show.
And then, Lieutenant Tyler goes to Michael again because he has to, he's explaining to her, I'm getting more of these flights. Because she asks him in the mess hall, so what happened out there? What do you mean everything's fine? And she's like, no, everything's not fine. Then he's like, okay, he kind of confesses he's having these flashbacks again. And then she's like, you need to go to the doctor. Mm-hmm. Well, the doctor, they're going to ground me and they're going to do it. Like, we're in a mirror universe. And, it's...
We got to get this settled here. We got to get
protocol kind of goes out the window a little bit.
Yeah, and they even mentioned during the interview, well, I can't go to a space station. No kidding. You have to...
Yeah, there is no... We don't even know if we're ever going to get back to our own world, let alone to get you help.
Yeah.
So he basically asked Michael, don't tell anyone. So lie for me, even though I can do something that could, get people killed or get the mission compromised, get the whole ship destroyed. Oh, yeah. But lie for me.
It's just ridiculous. It's insane. This is the things that just bring the show down. And then, basically.
So, the thing is, I just thought right now, why didn't she do a mind meld with him?
But she shouldn't be able to do it, but she can.
Yeah, they already did it. She could do it across the universe. Why not do that with him and to help him out? Why hasn't she done that yet?
No, of course we can't. Because now she doesn't have that ability. We're supposed to forget she has that ability.
And again, of course, the weak in person has to be the man, and Michael Burnham being the woman has to be the strong, the pillar.
It's so stupid. It's so stupid.
And it's happened multiple times. It happens multiple times in this episode, too.
Yeah.
So we finally get that data core opened up. Tilly opens it up. And then it's when they start figuring out, oh, man, we're at war with all these other races. And it's the Terran Empire. They're ruthless. They stop. They kill at any cause. They're more Klingon than... As bad as the Klingons were, they're worse than that.
Yeah.
And, of course, as fans, we already know all this. And basically, you got your second commands killing captains and take their spot. That's just what they do.
Yeah, to get rank,
And during that whole time, they start the spinning camera again.
Oh, my God. I know, a cool part, but the spinning camera ruins it. And then I guess they updated the emblem to the Terran Empire.
Yeah, it looks a little cooler. So it's not like as basic as a sword, but it's like red and it has the sword going through the planet.
I originally thought it was the Klingon one. No, that's the Terran Empire. Like, that's pretty cool.
So we're 100% confirmed we're in the Terran Empire mirror universe from the original series.
Again, that's cool, but one problem I have is, wasn't Kirk supposed to be the first one to cross over? It's like, okay.
And like I've said from the very, very beginning, they're setting this show up to be Michael Burnham and this crew. They're more Kirk than Kirk, more Spock than Spock, and they're going to do everything better than what they did.
I just can't stand that.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is.
So they start figuring out then, remember way back when the Cooper helped them out, they finally made contact, which is like hours later.
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't the Cooper have talked to them like instantaneously during that battle?
Thing too, and also what's also weird is because they're like, okay, because they got some stragglers. But why don't they explain that the first time? Oh, we're going to go after those stragglers and we'll come back. See, they didn't explain that.
And this is where it's a tense scene, but they injected some comedy that actually made me laugh. Like, I actually thought it was really funny. So they're like, oh, they want to talk to us. Like, well, we don't look like this Terran Empire people, so we'll do audio only. And the captain, Captain Lorca's about to send out the command. Like, wait a minute, you're not the captain of this ship. I'm like, who's the captain? They go through the files, and it's freaking Tilly.
I'm so glad I wasn't Burnham. That would have annoyed me.
So it was Tilly, and then Tilly's like, well, what? You want me to talk to this other captain? I can't be captain. And so they're like, well, and then Captain Lorca's like, sit in this chair, you got to do it.
Yeah.
And of course she answers it, and she's like, what the hell's going on, guys? Like, she's being like, 'cause she's a nervous woman. Yeah. And that's actually funny. It actually made me laugh.
Yeah, I kind of laughed too, a little bit too.
And they're like, well, why isn't the vid screen working? And she's like, well, we have engineering problems. Like, she's like being very timid.
Yeah.
And Captain Lorca's like,
you gotta especially in this universe, you can't be timid.
And it's actually really funny because that whole situation, because remember in the very beginning, she's talking about, oh, I'm going to be captain one day. Well, here you go. Here's your chance to be captain.
That's funny. Remember, that's a callback. Yeah, that's funny.
So it's kind of funny to see her thrust into a situation of like, that's her dream, but she's not ready for the dream.
No, she's not.
So that was kind of a fun little setup. And then, of course, you have to be a jerk.
Yeah.
So everyone's perfect for this Terran universe.
That's what I said. Now is the time to be like they were in the earlier episodes. Now you can say those things to these people. That's what they do on the turn.
And of course, she's like, oh, we have engineering problems. Like, oh, I'm going to turn it over to my head engineer. And and then everyone's looking at her like, you idiot, we don't know who the engineer person is on this. Yeah. So she's looking it up, and she's like, well, Captain Lorca, just do a voice or whatever. And of course, as Trek fans, he does like a Scottish voice. Like, oh, Scotty. So those two little scenes made me laugh. That was funny. That was... Yeah. Funny callbacks and a funny situation in a very tense situation. Yeah. So A+ for that tiny little scene.
Yeah,
I thought that was great. And it's like, oh, there you go. Oh, the engines are down. It's just
the problem is there's not enough of that.
No, there isn't.
That's the thing.
So they basically buy the poi, whatever, and then they shut off the feed. And then Tilly's like, about to pass out from like just being so nervous. And then Captain Lorca's looking at her, okay, get the hell out of my chair.
Yeah, exactly. I'm the captain.
And she's like, oh, sorry. And she like gets out of the chair. That was I just like that funny little scene. So they're starting to figure out more and more, like, okay, guys, we need to be Terran. So they're turning in all their badges, getting new uniforms.
Yeah,
so they're starting to look like the Terran Empire. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of cool to see them like turn in their badges, and they get the little sword and shield badges. Yeah. And then since Tilly has to be captain, she's like looking at her dossier file and everything, and she's like, sexy Tilly, because she has blonde hair and it looks so nice. Like, she looks so much nicer than the other version.
And the thing is, but again, she got through power by sleeping around and killing people.
Basically killed her captain like when they're in bed.
Yeah.
And she's like, I can't be this, I can't do this. Like, no, you gotta have to. You have to do it.
Instead of her naming Killy, her nickname's like Killy or something like that.
Yeah, Killy.
Killy, it's like
she's a bunch of like little nicknames. It's so
She's
silly.
so ruthless to this planet. Like, she's like, oh, I couldn't do this.
And they also confirmed, Sulu was talking about when they made their jump, that there was another ship that jumped with them. So that Mirror Universe Discovery is in the Prime Universe.
Yeah, and I said that too. They're in the Prime Universe. I wonder if they're going to ever show episodes of that. That would be interesting.
Yeah, that'd be cool to show, like, because they would be like, what's going on with this?
Ruthless, exactly.
Probably get themselves killed.
Well, the funny thing is, they definitely want to fight the Klingons. They would have no problem with that.
So then, everyone's kind of figuring out their roles, where they are in this Mirror Universe. Mm-hmm. So Captain Lorca's like, so what about you and me, Michael? They're talking. She's like, well, you rebelled, and I was sent after to kill you, and I was the captain of the Shinzo. Then stuff went down, and we're both presumed dead. Yeah. So we don't exist in this world.
And no offense, this looked like I could totally believe that he'd go after the Emperor.
Yeah, it started a coup.
Start a coup, because he's at, and if he was born in that universe, I could see him do that.
And then, like, they're in his court, like, they were in his little chamber, I don't want to call his chambers, his captain's quarters, and they're talking, and then he starts talking about destiny and everything, and Mike's like, well, I don't really believe in that, and then Lorca's like, we'll agree to disagree. So this weird conversation. Lorca, you're a freaking weirdo, man.
Weirdo, and she's like, oh, it's destiny with men. They go, no, you just got me, you broke me out of prison. That wasn't destiny. It had nothing to do with destiny.
So they're like, and then they're like, hey, maybe it's a good thing that we're basically ghosts in this universe, so we can kind of just stay on the down low. And they start thinking, well, we got to come up with a plan to get out of this place.
Yeah.
So they start thinking, well, we're going to do this where I'm going to look like I never died. I captured you so I can get back on the Shinzo and we can get information, because they find out about the Defiant.
Yeah.
So in that original thing, they made it to this mirror universe without the spore drive.
Yeah.
So they need to figure out how that happened.
Yeah, if you ever watched Enterprise, when they did a Terran PowerPoint version when the Defiant went back in the past, because there was a rip in space by the Folians, they used like a neutron bomb, and it opened up a rift in space, and that's what happens. They're trying to figure out how we can get out of this universe.
And that's it's so funny to see Lorca come up with these plans, and it's like, dude, this is all your freaking fault, man. I hate that. Right? It kind of irritates me that he's acting like he's saving everyone, but he's the one who put everyone in this place.
He kind of reminds me like, okay, I want to do this one little thing, and instead of lining up this one thing, he lit the whole house on fire. Because of your misdeed, we're stuck here.
So another storyline, since Michael has to be the one on the Sinjo, so Michael saves everyone again.
Oh, of course.
She's the key to everything. Oh. And then, like, you have to have a personal guard, and Captain Lorca's like, we'll make Tyler your personal guard. It's like, oh my goodness, this guy's having so many damn problems. Yeah. He can't even take care of himself, let alone be someone's bodyguard.
And the thing is, Michael Burnham at this point knows he has problems. She should say something. Captain, you can't use them. I mean, you're telling me there's got to be at least 150 plus security personnel on Discovery. He's one of them.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
It's like they don't want to give someone any more lines to read.
I know, right?
So, but, what I thought was a good thing, Lieutenant Tyler goes to the dock and he's like, hey, can you do another scan on me? I'm not feeling so well. It's like, well, we already did that when you get on board. He's like, well, can you do like a better scan? And then the doc's like, hey, if things are going really bad with you, I'm going to ground you.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, no, I just want to make sure I'm ready for this mission. He's like, okay, we'll put you another deeper scan, more detailed scan. And then you hear... and then he's getting set up, and then engineer guy is there, and then the doctor goes over to him. Oh, I'm going to protect you. And then I made the joke like, oh, it's going to be like Sleeping Beauty. He's going to kiss him. He's going to wake up, and that's what happens. He kisses him.
Well, then I know he kissed him, but I also said, watch, it's only me for like 10 seconds, and I was like, okay, so at least it wasn't that bad.
And because his eyes go back to normal, and he tells his husband, the enemy is here.
Yeah.
And then he goes right back into catatonic state. So it's like. His kiss brought him back the power of love or the wrinkle in time.
I know, that was silly, but...
That's not a Trek thing. That's a Star Wars thing, Definitely. That's a silly fantasy thing. I thought that was so weird. But it did make me laugh, though, because it's ridiculous.
We injected him with some kind of drug that made him do that for a few seconds and he got out of it. But...
Yeah, like he figured out a way and it only worked for a little bit.
Yeah.
So we get back to... Tilly and Michael are talking, and Tilly's like, I can't be this lady. This woman's crazy. She's gonna give me nightmares, and it's me.
Yeah.
And then Michael's like, you don't got a choice.
Yeah.
You got to do this. You got to be ruthless. We're in this other universe. If you show any sign of weakness, you're gonna basically be killed.
Yeah.
You got to go and you got to act like you're big and bad, and you're Killy. You're not Tilly anymore. You're Killy.
Killy.
That's the thing. She kills people. And I have to say, Mean Tilly's fun. When she's talking crap and like, let's
see, now it makes sense. Yeah. Now you can do it.
Let's let these a-holes wait anymore. And then she kind of looks at the captain and is like, yeah, act like that. Yeah. She's fun. I like Mean Tilly. I want her forever. I want Mean Tilly.
And then it gets that one ship. Cooper comes back, and then they find out who the captain is, and it's that guy that was the Shinjo helmsman who was trying to get Burnham out of the brig because he was a friggin' wuss.
Yeah, that dude, and he kind of died. So he ended up becoming captain when Michael Burnham in that universe disappeared.
He was the first officer, yeah.
And then they have to do the thing, and he's like, and of course they're like, oh, Captain Tilly, what's the honor? And of course she has to be like a mean, project that. Yeah.
And she was doing it really well.
She did a super good job. As I said, she was fun. I like this Tilly where she's like this mean, nasty B word. I love it. Yeah. And they're going and they're doing this little ploy. She's like, oh, I found something in a escape pod that I think you might find useful. And then, of course, the captain's supposed to be on the run. And he like hits his head against the wall to make it look like he got beat up a little bit because, they're going to rough him up. Yeah. I'm like, come on, Michael, just punch Captain.
I know, oh, thank you.
I'm like, dude, let me do it. I would have done it for fun. It would have been great.
Yeah, exactly.
And then she drags her out onto the bridge. And then the guy's like, whoa, Captain Burnham, and you have, the saboteur, the traitor, Lorca, and she's like, you need to bring my ship back and all that. Of course, you got to be mean, you got to be nasty. Yeah. And then another fun little exchange is she's all like, the captain is like, oh, you come to us. I'm in the middle of like a thing. We have an enemy pinned down. And then she's like, you need to bring my ship to me. And then Tilly's like, if you would have spoke to me that way, I would have cut out your tongue and make it to lick my boots or whatever. And it's like, oh, wow, nasty Tilly. I like it. I like the way she's acting.
It's funny.
And then she's like, and then the other guy's like, well, okay, I'll come to you. And it's like, that's what you got to be like.
You have to be that way.
And it's like, okay, when we get there, we'll contact you or whatever. And then they shut off. And then Tilly's kind of like, everyone looks at Tilly like, yeah, that's the way you're starting to get it. And this is where things get to the point to where I'm like, oh no, this is awful.
Yeah.
We get to see the deep scan is done, and the doc is talking to Lieutenant Tyler, saying, "Did you ever get any like surgeries or anything done like that?" He's like, "Well, I don't think so." And he's like, "What has happened to you when you were over in that Klingon ship? You have scar tissue on every single organ."
Yeah.
Every bone, everything has scars on it.
And it's funny, at first we thought that was from their first scans, but then now we did a deeper scan, and there's something going on here.
They literally cut his bones in his arms to make it a certain size, cut the bones in his legs and fuse them together.
His spinal cord.
Even his spinal cord, so he would be the perfect whatever height they wanted him to be. I couldn't even imagine what type of pain.
Oh, he must have been.
I mean, I don't think Klingons have sedatives or anything like that. These have a thing to keep you alive.
And again, I really don't like the PTSD, but at that point, you're like, wow, that is pretty bad.
Yeah, it's pretty awful. And then, they're talking and everything, and I can't believe this. I could not believe that they did this. And then the doc's like, okay, you're done. You're not going on this mission. It's over with. And he's like, no, I got a mission. I got to do this.
Yeah, because he has to be a personal guard for the captain.
For Burnham.
Burnham, yeah.
So he puts the doctor like in a chokehold. I'm like, oh, he's going to knock him out. He freaking snaps his neck and kills him.
Yeah.
So that...
We couldn't believe it. He's dead.
Yeah, the doctor, the husband to the engineer, he's dead. Yeah. He's not coming back.
But it's weird because I know for a fact that most Stars of there'd be a nurse in that thing.
I know.
Where's everyone at here? Where's security cameras at? They didn't see anything?
I know. It's ridiculous. So I'm thinking, they're going to find a dead doctor down there. Yeah. So he runs onto the bridge because they're ready to transport over. And he's like, oh, sorry, I was a little late. And it's like, dude, they're going to find the dead doctor and they're going to wonder what happened.
I'm assuming he blacked out and he doesn't even know. I guarantee he didn't even know.
Like the Klingon part took over?
Yeah.
So knowing that they cut his bones and did all that stuff, I'm starting to think that he is just... Because I thought maybe they put the consciousness of the Klingon guy in a human body. I'm thinking they just took the Klingon guy and completely made him.
Well, remember when he said he was from Seattle and he said that one area, and then Burnham's, and then he was talking to Lorca earlier episode, and he says, "Well, that's not there." So
he just have loose information,
maybe.
So I'm thinking it is that albino torchbearer Klingon guy, who underwent surgery to become human, like 100% human, and then like. They put a fake personality of the real Lieutenant Tyler, who's probably dead, and put that personality over him so he'd be like the perfect sleeper agent.
Exactly.
But to what end? To learn about the spore drive?
Maybe to learn about technology of the Federation? I don't know.
It's so weird. Like what is their end game with this?
Unless he was supposed to be in hiding because they knew he was going to be in line to get killed because he was a torchbearer, so they waited until the power struggle of the Klingons were over with so he could come in. I don't know. I'm just trying to explain it.
So I'm wondering if they showed the engineer guy have his little violent outbursts and they're going to blame the doc's death on the engineer. I'm thinking that's probably what they're going to do. And Lieutenant Tyler's going to be like, yeah, that's what happened, and just go along with it.
I'm pretty
even though he just straight up murdered the doctor.
Probably, which is terrible. I mean, he was my favorite character, and that's over with now.
Yeah, you just killed a completely innocent doctor guy who was just trying to help you.
Yeah, you're done.
Yeah, you're a piece of garbage, Tyler. I can't believe it. So they finally, I'm thinking, the episode's going to end here, but they get onto the Terran universe version of the Sinjo.
That is Sinjo, because we forgot the name of the ship we were talking about earlier. It's the Sinjo from the original.
So it's not destroyed anymore. It's still there. And they get there, and they teleport on there, and they have like their weird, very Hitler-like hand signals.
Yeah, that's what they do, hail the Empire, yeah.
And they're there, and then, of course, everyone has to act like a jerk, because that's what you do.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I'll take this scumbag off your hands, and then Burnham's like, no, you think this is my bounty, and I don't want anyone to stab him and take the glory, he's mine. And they're like, okay, that works in this world. And then they're going, and they finally get to the part where then they had those torture chambers. Yeah. Which was it from the original?
Yes. And it was also, they were first invented during Archer's time on Enterprise. Yeah. The Terran Empire Enterprise.
And then they're going to throw him in one of these little torture pods, and then Burnham's like, no, don't do that. And I'm like, Burnham, you idiot, you're going to blow the cover. Yeah. Then she uses the excuse of, I don't want anyone accidentally killing him. I wanted to bring him to the Emperor.
But funny, those torture devices, you won't die. No. They'll take you to the brink. But you won't die. You'll just feel constant pain.
And you're in pain 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, non-stop.
Yeah. And as soon as your body gets used to it, it hits another nerve.
Yeah, it just takes a little extra more.
Yep.
What a horrible thing.
Oh, it is awful.
It's just an awful, horrible thing. So then they throw, like Captain Lorca, she's like, I don't like this planet anymore.
See, I don't understand why Burnham just didn't go on the ship. You didn't have to, I guess, to give her validation that she
and it's like a bounty prize.
Bounty, I guess, but... Lorca, you go through that. I don't have to.
And she used the excuse of why they thought she was dead. Oh, that's what I wanted you to think, so I can go undercover, so I can catch him. So
I guess it makes sense, but
it plays into Terran sensibility.
But you could get killed. That's the thing.
Yeah. So Lorca's in the shock chamber, basically like, that's what you get for getting everyone here.
Yeah.
And then, she's talking to the captain or...
In the elevator.
And they have a little elevator fight because he's like, I found a way to solidify my captain.
Yeah, and I was saying, watch your back, Burnham, because he probably want to stay captain. I knew that was going to happen.
So they have a little elevator fight, which is all right. It was an okay fight. Yeah. But here's the thing. We're trying to say, they keep saying how Burnham was like the greatest fighter in the Vulcan Academy. This guy shouldn't even be able to touch her then.
Yeah.
I can understand Suru when they fought because Suru's supposed to be stronger too, like physically strong.
He's just a human.
He's just a regular human.
She
should have been able to like grab his arm, break it in 3 places, and just.
And then as she's killing me, she starts to look like she's concerned. You can't be concerned. He's trying to kill you. It's another universe. You have to.
Yeah, this is a mirror universe that you're gonna leave, so it doesn't matter what you do.
Yeah.
2, everyone's evil.
Yeah,
and he's trying to kill you. So it's not like you had to kill an innocent person. No, this guy literally tried to kill.
Yeah,
you
have to. You had no choice.
And it's so funny because as soon as the elevator gets to the top. If you want to see a good elevator fight, watch Winter Soldier. Now that's an awesome.
Oh my goodness!
Elevator fight.
Don't even get me started on that.
So the elevator gets to the bridge, and then the former Captain dead body falls on the ground, and then like everyone starts clapping. And it's like, what's going on?
And they start praising Burnham. I don't know. It's funny because then you said that reminds you of the Callister,
the Black Mirror.
But it makes sense though in this universe.
So they're like, "Yeah, you killed that dude. That's awesome." Everyone's just like clapping their hands, just like, "This place is awful." Everything.
But that's what it is. It's like if the Nazis were at one and they were in outer space. That's how bad it is.
And then she sits in her chair, and then she's like, "Oh, hail the Empire!" And the camera zooms out. Yeah. It's kind of like, okay, that's kind of a cool thing. And then we get another scene where she gets back to her captain's quarters, and she's just emotionally exhausted.
Oh, yeah.
She's like, I don't want to be here. And then Lieutenant Tyler's in order in her room, and it kind of scares the crap out of her.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, the codes are the same. And it's like, Lieutenant Tyler, I don't like this guy's gonna, I thought he was gonna attack her.
Oh, yeah, right?
And then, like, Michael basically just, confides in him, and he confides in her. Of course, she does that whole, like, motherly hug. It's not like a lover's hug. It's more of like he puts her head on her chest, and it's like almost like a baby. Mm-hmm. And it's like, oh, come on, can you stop showing this guy's a freaking complete...
I know, it's
little
too much.
Child?
That's what I can't stand. But all the men look weak in this series. That's the thing.
And then you got, Lieutenant, I'm always going to protect you, and anything that happens, or like moral, emotional validation for Michael.
Oh, yeah.
Just non-stop validation for this lady. It's like, and you can find it almost in every episode.
Oh, definitely.
And then we get to the part to where it's like it's a sexy time. So she basically mounts them, and they're okay. They're probably gonna do it together, and that's basically where the episode ends. Right.
Oh, you see Lorca in the torture chamber.
Yeah, and he's like screaming and torturing, like, yeah, take that, Lorca, you jerk, for screwing everyone over.
Oh yeah, like time and time again.
So and then they show a preview for the next episode. So I guess that's gonna be this whole season is them in this Terran universe.
Yeah,
which is so much better because everything that happens
doesn't matter now.
Doesn't matter to the Prime universe.
No,
this is what they did. What we wanted, but backwards.
They should have did it way sooner.
Yeah,
like the first or second episode.
So this episode, what do you think is the best episode? Because it set up. I don't have to worry about stupid crap that messes with canon.
No, I'm more worried about the little things. How Michael Burnham's treated. How they have to validate her. How they have to say she's perfect. How all that.
Yeah,
but that's just little things. Hold on.
And then just the weird stuff, like what's going on with that Klingon lady? Like,
oh yeah,
does she even know they're in?
I don't think that she even knows.
So what's her plan?
Well, yeah, if she escapes and gets out, she's gonna find out the Klingons are the ones being attacked.
Yeah,
it's gonna be the opposite.
She'll be on the back end.
She'll be on the good side, I guess.
Yeah, I suppose. So I would say this episode was much better than the other episodes.
Is it a 6.9?
From the mere fact that they're in a mirror universe. That's all I ever wanted.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to do all this radical, crazy stuff, don't do it in the Prime universe.
Yeah.
Do it in the mirror universe. So now we're in a mirror universe, so all the crazy things that happen can just be crazy things that happen.
Yeah.
But you did bring up that other Discovery is in the Prime universe.
Yeah, what if they did an episode about that? How cool would that be? See Tiller actually be worthless. I'm worried what they're going to do. The problem is in the Kirk, when they did it, at least it was basically, okay, the other people on the ship are still normal. This whole ship is evil.
Yeah.
What if they fool enough people and start insurrection in the Federation? That's what I'm worried about. Or make an alliance with the Klingons or something, and I don't know, that's kind of crazy.
So a much better showing. If this would have been the framework from the series from the beginning,
it would have been much better.
I would have been much more receptive to the show.
Yeah.
But so overall,
and the fact that the head of the nurse, he died.
Yeah, he died. That irritates me.
Why sit down?
Why couldn't he just choke him out?
Yeah. Why do you have to kill him?
He literally snapped his neck. This isn't like, oh, you punched him in the face and he passed out. No, he's dead. There's no coming back from a snap neck.
Ridiculous. It's a 6.9 because of that.
Yeah,
it could have been over a 7, honestly. But those little things again,
the tiny little things, the cinematography, the spinning camera, the constant praising of Michael,
the fact, like literally, like not just that, but like the fact you said that hits at the head medical officer died.
Yeah, that really brings down the episode.
Brings it down. The fact that Taylor might be a sleeper agent, like totally might be a Klingon in disguise. It's just why.
And again, when they flash back to those torture scenes and the I guess the surgery scenes, it's so brutal. Like, ugh.
I mean, it looks like is this Star Trek or is this Saw or Hostel? I mean, that's what it looks like.
Yeah.
You see a face and like a plastic bag over it and blood. Like, oh, jeez.
Yeah, blood's going everywhere. It's a little intense.
A little too much.
So overall, I would have to say I liked it more than most of the episodes. Yeah, the little things like not explaining stuff.
Yeah.
Just a little more science in here, or just technological stuff, like have him shut off the cameras or set the cameras to a loop.
Yeah.
So it looks like she's just in her cell.
Exactly.
Do little things like that instead of just he walks in there, opens the door, and no alarms, nothing.
It's also kind of interesting too. Like they don't have any cameras in the Terran ship. What if someone's watching them? I mean, that could be a possibility because
I would imagine
it's all ruthless. Yeah, because everyone's all get advantage.
And I have to say that the Terran uniforms look cool.
Yeah, I was about to say that little sash.
Yeah, they got
the sash down here, and then the arch or thing. It's not what it looks like originally, but it is cool looking. And if it's the Terran universe, I don't care as much. It doesn't bother me. Like I said, it doesn't bother me if they change things in this universe.
If something happens in the Terran mirror universe that's really radical and different, it doesn't hurt me as much as the Prime universe.
That's not Star Trek. That's not the Star Trek main universe.
Yeah,
that's
so
fine.
You can do whatever you want with mirror universes. So I'm wondering, now that their goal is to find the Defiant, figure out how it got to the mirror universe, and replicate it to get back.
Well, they have to go in Tholing in space to do that.
So, but we don't. They literally have no idea how this is going to work.
Exactly.
So they're hopefully when they get back on the Shinzo, they'll have high enough clearance to look into it, and that's basically where we're going to leave out from there. Next episode preview kind of showed them on a planet they're fighting. So
and it shows Sarah, and of course he minds with her, so he's going to find out she's not from that universe.
And of course he has a goatee. Whoop, whoop. That's the mirror universe is about.
Everyone's got a goatee.
Everyone has a goatee. Michael Burnham should have a goatee.
Yeah.
So that's going to wrap it up.
Yeah, basically. And also the reason why, because some Vulcans did join the Terran Empire too.
Yeah.
So there's a split there.
Because the logical thing that we can't beat them, so we'll join them.
Mm-hmm.
So overall, like I said before, it was a better episode than most.
Why couldn't this be the first episode or second?
So I'm wondering, do you think they're going to make it back to Federation space, or this could be the whole storyline?
I'm kind of hoping they never do, to be honest with you, so that way they can mess this up as much as they want. And
it would explain why the Federation never got the spore drive, why those things never happened,
and never found out the cloaking thing and all that.
Because they die in this mirror universe.
Yeah. Basically.
I think that would be fine. That'd be great because then it keeps everything away.
And I'll be perfectly okay with it. I'm sorry, I would be perfectly okay. But if this is only like an 8-episode thing, I'll be kind of mad. That'll tick me off royally.
So I can't really think of anything else.
No, but also I'm kind of thinking, though, this would be another callback. Is anyone going to find Captain Kirk's the machine that destroys people by pushing a button? I wonder if they're going to find that in this universe.
It looks like they're starting to do some more of that little callback stuff.
But they said they were going to, and I'm glad they are. Because that's helping
you gotta give the Trek fans a little of that fan
service.
But
if you're gonna go different, you gotta give us something. There's gotta be a trade-off.
So, it's funny to say that it was a good episode because in my mind it kind of leaves a nasty taste in my mouth to say something was good about this show. But this was definitely better.
But compared to all the other episodes we've seen.
You gotta take, as a whole, it's still an F.
Yeah.
This one contained episode, again, it's like a kid who got straight Fs and 1 C minus. Well, that doesn't bring you grade up enough.
I say D plus for me. See, D minus. It's in that range. But again, if they didn't kill the Doctor and Taylor wasn't an agent, that would have been so much better.
Yeah, it's so weird because they're gonna be. That's a whole nother that's like a B plot that is gonna, of course, come to a head. They're gonna get back to the ship and realize the Doctor's dead. They're gonna blame it on the engineer. That's what they're gonna do.
Oh, they have to
because you can't have any. Because why in the world would you want cameras in a medical bay? Why would you want that?
But again, remember they had shields up around the engineer a lot of the time. So how do you get through the shields?
They're gonna just make up something.
Oh, of course.
So that's going to wrap it up. Thanks for watching. We're going to be doing these every week.
Yeah.
I'm glad maybe the ship is turning around a little bit.
I'm hoping this at least gives me a little bit of hope. A little tiny hope.
It almost makes you want to say that if no one's seen the series before, to start with this episode.
Yeah, please.
Yeah,
oh, yes.
Don't watch the other episodes.
No, don't watch the first 9, 10. Those were disgusting. Just watch this.
It's so much better. If this would have been episode 1,
yeah,
this series would be like, oh, wow, this is interesting. It really is.
Yeah.
But that's going to be it. I've been your host, Crimson Sin.
F15 PCA.
Thanks for watching.
See you later. Bye.
Crimson Sin here. Thanks for watching, and be sure to like, sub, and share. Also, for the most up-to-date information about the podcast, follow us on Twitter at C15 Podcast.